So following on from lockdown sessions, we still want to interview fabulous people. So today's guest is Peter Gold, friend of the RDLC, an Ibiza conference veteran, the man who is never wrong when it comes to technology. Our go-to futurologist, advisor for all things tech, especially rec tech. He's the head of rec solutions for Cornerstone still. So he's the man who knows this stuff. Peter, hi, can I just say your setup in your van looks amazing. You've got a Gary Gold mic.
Hey everybody, yeah, obviously the gold mic is only for today, Gary.
But Peter and I were just talking about bots and how bots can change us. But my sort of vision of the future might be that we have bots that attract data, that populates our CRM, warm leads then get passed down to BD people. The BD people qualify those leads, sign them off, gets unfair advantage and give it to a delivery team thereafter, and all your finance there be taken care of by bots. And then Peter, you suggested the difference between McDonald's and a 5-star restaurant. Should we start there?
Yeah. And so what I was you were saying, well, do I think bots are, what's the future of bots? I guess really was the question, wasn't it? And I said, really, it depends where your focus is. So, and part of that will be depending on who your clients are, because if you look at what's happening around automation, I mean, and obviously I work for Cornerstone, we sell a recruitment platform mainly to in-house recruiters. And very often the conversation is around the in-house recruiters say, we want to automate more. Well, by automating more of the process, which is fine, you are removing yourself out of the process. And so if in-house recruiters automate themselves out of the process, there's still a need for somebody else to get involved somewhere in the process. And so as you have to kind of say, well, what am I target market doing? So if I'm, let's say, working primarily with retailers, has that organization actually sorted out their high volume recruiting themselves by automating? Or are they actually struggling to address that level of high volume recruiting? Because most in-house recruitment systems are not very good at high volume recruiting. They were never designed for high volume recruiting. So it may be that as a retailer of talent, let's say, which is what the agencies arguably are, you go, well, we can be far more efficient, far more flexible in making that process really, really efficient, really low cost, and go down that, like you said, that kind of bot model. Because in-house will be very often constrained by other systems they have, whether it be Oracle, SAP, Workday, core HR systems will stop them being able to implement really funky and really advanced, highly automated recruiting systems, which means they might struggle to do that. So if an agency comes along and says, well, hang on, we can do the high volume far more efficiently than you can, more like an Amazon model, then that's where bots fit in. And again, using the example of McDonald's, let's be honest, if you're going to go to McDonald's or any kind of fast food place to eat, you don't care whether you talk to anybody or not. You just want to get in, place your order, transact, get out. You don't care about talking to anybody. Very often, candidates in those high volume roles, they're not really that bothered about talking to anybody. They just want to know, have you got a job? How much will it pay me? What are the hours? Can I do the hours? Okay, submit my application. Have I got the job, yes or no? Just tell me quickly. I don't want a phone call. Just tell me quickly. So there's that element, and that's where bots can be really good and very quickly match you and say, sorry, Gary, you're not suitable because of this. End of. Conversation's finished. Highly efficient. But then those that do pass the process, even easier. Whereas at the other end of the scale, if you're very niche, and the only way you're realistically going to engage with your niche target market is you can't just use technology. You've got to actually talk to people. There's a piece of functionality on the iPhone where you can actually ring people and talk to them that we don't use very often. But those that actually use that these days can actually talk to their niche market. So you wouldn't rely on a bot there. You wouldn't want masses of automation for the candidate point of view at that point.
Can I ask a question? So one of the great things that bots can do is help build out your data sets. Are there any stats or proven data that gives you an indication that when people have those automated pieces that says, I'd like to connect with you, please connect with me, boring, what's the conversion rate to one of those versus a human interaction where someone puts something personal in there? Or are bots at that level where they can do cleverer things?
Well, two things. There's anecdotal data that says that actually people are engaging more with bots than they necessarily are doing with people. They're asking questions they wouldn't necessarily ask. And some of the anecdotal data show that people are engaging with the bot on a career site out of hours rather than during hours. And that's you'd kind of expect that. But so there's some early data showing that people are happy to engage with the bot, knowing it's a bot, absolutely knowing it's a bot, and saying, that's working. As for actual conversions, again, it's only anecdotal data because it's still early days, but people are still converting through that process because, like I say, they're happy to transact. They just want to transact quickly and easily. And particularly if you're in let's say a temp market rather than a professional contractor market, hourly paid type workers, they can't afford to wait weeks to get a reply on a job. They live hand to mouth. They work week to week. So absolutely, the data is showing that people in certain areas, certain job types are happy to engage with bots, and they are engaging probably more so than they are without.
Can we come back to this bot piece? Because let's try and cover everything else, because otherwise I'm going to get totally absorbed in this bot thing, because I'm fascinated by it, and I think 100% is the future. So
okay.
When
we have Gary the bot, then we're all in trouble.
Yes. Like you think I'm not a bot.